So I've been playing a lot of Fortnite recently, probably too much. I'm severely addicted to this video game. I've been playing it like every single day for multiple hours. I love it. I love the brand new map. I love the loot pool. I wish some guns weren't in there. I feel like getting headshot sniped by the hunting rifle for a 250 plus headshot is a little bit annoying, but maybe that's just a me problem. I do want to talk about something specifically in zero builds, which has definitely kind of struck in my nerves, and that is the whole pocket item system. This system was actually added last season during like the Overwatch update. I'm pretty sure it was. Basically, you have a separate item slot from your usual 5 that is automatically defaulted to a shockwave. It's to let you get more movement. You're probably running in like the middle of the desert and you have literally no cover around you. You have no bushes, you have no rocks, no trees, and you just die in a second because there's nowhere to go. And maybe you didn't pick up any sort of mobility items. Maybe you decided to pick up healing items or cover items or any other items, and in that case, you have no mobility to get out of there. You have no item that can protect you. This is what the pocket item is for. The just-in-case item, the emergency item is what I would call it. I think many people kind of praised it. I definitely praised it because before, there's a lot of times where you would just die out in the open. Like you would just be dead because either you run out of your mobility item of choosing, maybe you didn't have any mobility items on you, you prioritized healing or cover items, and then you use those up and you just couldn't get out of there. It sucked. It really did suck, and I felt like that was something that was kind of always needed. I feel like this pocket item system should have always been in the game since Zero Builds was released in Chapter 3 Season 2, but I'm glad we're having it now. But with this pocket item system being out for around a month, I do want to say it needs some work. I do feel like it's very flawed, and it just makes Zero Builds not a bad experience. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it could definitely make the zero build experience much more pleasant to play. How it works is everybody is defaulted to the shockwave item, and you can actually go to a vending machine and switch out the pocket item for a med mist, smoke, or a shield bubble, and that's it. And that is kind of like where the problem lays. The fact that you have to go to a vending machine to change your pocket item is so like strange to me. Why isn't this like how it was in Bliss? By the way, that mode is dunzo gonzo. But how that would work is before the game would start, there would actually be a whole bunch of flex gadgets, is what they were called, that you could choose from and then go into the game, and then you can actually use them. The system of that you have to physically travel to a vending machine to change it is just so dumb to me. There should either be a UI before you start the game, sort of like the sprite collection, or maybe even at the battle bus, or while you're in the battle bus, like while you're above the map to change it, or maybe even while you're skydiving or something like that. I don't know. There should be a UI or a way to change that pocket item before the game actually starts, because the problem with having every single game started off by everybody having shockwaves, not trying to be a Nick 830, this is very important. I'm telling you right now, I'm not advocating for Fortnite to vault shockwaves, although I do believe it would be in the best player's interest for them to be replaced with the overdrive nades. It does kind of confuse me how they added those overdrive nades, mainly because of the people that really didn't like shockwaves, and there's people who supported the shockwaves saying they were needed, but then they're like, okay, well, they're a little too overpowered, people kind of rush with them, they get a little spammy, blah blah blah. You know, it's kind of like a get out of jail free card, as I think it was Ted Timmons who said that, the senior design director at Fortnite, and they created the overdrive nades. And sure, those are in the loot pool, which is fantastic, but I feel like, why not just have the overdrive nades as the pocket item? Why not just have those instead of the shockwave? It was a very good mix between the two. So I don't know why they chose that. That seems like that calmed people's nerves, yet they just add the shockwaves back. I don't know. But when you have the shockwave defaulted to everybody, it's like as soon as you land, people are instantly out of there. So they're gone, right? So you land on somebody, they shockwave away, you chase them down, and then they shockwave again. And then you chase them down, and then they shockwave again. And then you chase them down, and they shockwave again. And then, like, while you're chasing them, they're already healed up to max HP and shield. And then you have to shockwave out of there, but then they shockwave to chase you, and it just creates this whole like running, you chasing them, you know. But when you're chasing them, they're already on the ground first, so they're healed, so they're fully healed, and then you shoot them, they're like, oh my god, how do they have a bazillion HP? Maybe they drink that overpowered chug jug, and then you have to shockwave away, but their shockwaves recharge and they shockwave back. It creates this super, just in my opinion, unfun kind of chasing and running. experience. Chase rush. You chase them, they fight, you got to dip, and they chase you back, and it's just so dumb in my personal opinion. I feel like Fortnite is best when it has that kind of grounded experience where people aren't constantly flying all over the place. At least that's what I kind of loved about Fortnite, at least back in the day, the chapter 1, even chapter 2 kind of days, maybe even chapter 3. But it can't go too far of that kind of grounded experience, because then you end up like seasons like chapter 5 season 1, kind of. Chapter 7 season 1 definitely had that, where I feel like it was kind of missing a lot of those kind of like power items. All those shockwaves were in that season, but they weren't the pocket items, so like you could actually run out. It wasn't infinite. So you don't want the game to kind of play like you're too much on the ground. You definitely need like that kind of fast movement type items. But like just the infinite shockwaves, man, it just creates such a stupid like chasing heal, rushing heal experience, and it just isn't fun in my personal opinion. And by the way, you can keep shockwaves on that pocket item. That is totally fine. You could keep it there, but just don't have it set to everybody in the lobby. Don't have it set as the default. It should not be the default as your pocket item. You should either have that UI beforehand so everybody can have a chance to change it, or you have a different type of system where it's randomized. This is kind of one of the solutions I thought of. Why not have a randomized system? Not saying by per player. It could not work by per player, because it would be very unfair if, like, you know, you drop on somebody, then you have, I don't know, the Guardian Shield, and they have shockwaves, and it's like, okay, well, you're kind of, some people would say you're at a disadvantage there. It would have to be randomized per lobby. So for example, you drop it in the pocket item for that lobby might be impulses. The next game might be med mist nades. The next game might be shockwaves. The next game might be bushes. I don't know. I'm just naming random stuff here. You know, I feel like there should be other items in there as well. About to go into that too. And I think if they had a randomized system like that, I think it would make the game a lot less repetitive. And overall, I would definitely have a more of a fun experience. I think I would, because then every game would play differently. Like you could see, okay, how are people going to play in the game where everybody has, I don't know, snowman. Everybody has sneaky snowman as one of them, right? That would definitely be interesting. I feel like in this system, you couldn't really have the choice to change it, because then everybody would just, you know, what everybody would do, they would just change it back to shockwaves as soon as, you know, before the game launches or whatever. So the randomized system would only work in a case where it, you know, it was locked in for the rest of the lobby and there was no choice of it whatsoever. But let's go on to the second option, in which I think could definitely change this, and that's just adding more pocket items. Let me ask you this. When is the last time you've actually seen somebody switch out their shockwaves for the pocket shield bubble or for the pocket smoke health? Literally never. The only time I've seen somebody actually switch them out was literally when I was playing duos with my friend. I said, you know, I'm just gonna try out the smoke med mist, and actually it did kind of work in some ways, because people don't really expect you even having that on you. But literally nobody changes it. Everybody just keeps shockwaves, because either people don't know that you can change it. I know that's for a fact. I know for a fact people have no idea you can actually even change your pocket item, because they don't explain it to you. Nobody explains you can change it. It's just a vending machine that sits with the other vending machines. Nobody even says you can change it. And two, the other ones are kind of very just weak. They're weak. Like the shield bubble should be the shield bubble junior. The shield bubble is massive, and that would really only be useful in the end games. And if you throw it in the end game, maybe you get a heal off, but then they're just gonna rush you with shockwaves, and then you're dead. So and it gives away your positioning. So shield bubbles are just completely useless. Med mist smoke is actually pretty good, but once again, you get rushed. They just go in your smoke and they kill you or whatever. I guess that would be useful if you're in storm, but that's really it. There's really no cases I would really even use the med mist smoke, and that just leaves everybody to keep using the shockwaves. So my second solution is literally just add more variables, add more pocket items. I'm actually surprised this season we didn't get any new pocket items, but I thought this was a new system they were going to be doing, and they're going to be constantly updating it, update after update, you know, adding new pocket items. They have a rotation of items. So maybe for like 2 weeks, the rotation of pocket items are going to be like, I'm just going to name some few, like rift-to-goes, and then like porta bunkers, and then gas nades, random examples, right? And then maybe another season they'll change it to something else, and another season they'll change it to something else, or another week they'll do it weekly or something, bi-weekly or something like that. But no, they could either force it on us like that, or they could just keep giving us more items to choose from, in which I think that might be the better option. Okay, so why isn't there more? Why is there only literally 3? Why, like, there's like, just think about all the consumables in Fortnite, right? I'm literally looking at images of them, like every single consumable in the video game. There is so much storm flips, rift-to-goes, Balloons, like I said earlier, I said I don't know, shield kegs. Like you could even do like healing. You know, you could add more regular healing items in there as well, but obviously you would have to change the timings on them. You can't have, like, you know, shockwaves and all the other ones like be defaulted to 60 seconds. If you were to have something like porta bunker, obviously that's a little bit overpowered, so you'd have to do like, you can only throw a porta bunker every like 2 minutes as compared to like 30 seconds with like a shockwave or whatever. You could literally mess with that data. You could do a boogie bomb every like 2 minutes or something like that. I don't know. There's so much variables you could do here with this system, and Fortnite just doesn't either care for it. They don't want to spend the time with it. I understand you don't want to over complex it, but I feel like if you just have like 8 items, I think 8 total pocket items would be nice, and just constantly refreshing it every season, I would say. I don't think you could keep doing it every update. It'd definitely get a little annoying. Just do it by season, so it's something new. And I think that would honestly be the best system to really change this, because right now it honestly is it is very frustrating having that gameplay where just everybody is guaranteed on the shockwaves, nobody changes them, and it's a constant rush run type of gameplay, and I'm just not for it. And the last thing I want to say is they could literally add those items like from Ballistic. Like those flex gadgets could just be the items. Use the overdrive kind of stim, the proximity mine, the fire gadget. I'll just put them on screen. You could just add those instead and keep shockwaves in there, or you could just go through the hundreds of past consumables we have in the game and just keep rotating them in, rotating them out. Like literally look at all like just I'm looking at a list of them, like propifiers, decoy nades. There's so like EMPs. There's so much consumables you could be doing for this pocket item system. Yeah, you don't, or maybe you are in the future and I'm just complaining about it too early. But I feel like with this new season they should have done something with it. I don't know, this is my only really flaw I would have to say with zero builds. But what do you guys think about it in the comments below? Once again, I'm not advocating for shockwaves to be getting removed. I'm not trying to pull a Nick 830. I'm just pointing out that this system is very flawed. It's very underutilized. It hasn't been worked on. It's almost too simple of a system, and it definitely needs some tweaking. It needs some changing. But what do you guys think about that? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.